Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the first live musical of everyone's favorite sea sponge in the Spongebob Musical.
Is that a good imitation?
Close enough.
When Bikini Bottom is in danger of being destroyed by a volcano, Spongebob, Patrick, and Sandy, and the Reasonable Facsimiles, work together to save the city with the power of optimism. Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on Paws Podcast and World of Paws videos.
Yes.
Now, for the Spongebob Musical. Didn't think this would actually be a thing, but it is.
Yes.
Apparently, people like musicals so much that they're willing to turn anything that isn't a musical into a musical.
And right now, it's available free to watch on demand.
Yep, or watch online or something.
Yeah.
Because we have seen lots of times throughout the years of the weirdest things getting musical adaptations. I mean, not counting movies that are already musicals from the start, they just kind of add more songs to it. Mm-hmm. But we've seen stuff like Heathers, Carrie, Beetlejuice, Steven Universe, My Academia, Bleach, Haikyuu, all these things that Shrek, all of these things that, are fine as they are suddenly getting musical adaptations. Like, how do you turn this into a musical? No. It's weird seeing all these things turn to musical because you're wondering how do you turn SpongeBob stuff like this into a musical. But I guess for SpongeBob, it's easier.
Sorta.
I mean,
it was a strange thing to watch.
I mean, they do have songs in SpongeBob, but the last time they had a musical, it was an animated mini one, and it didn't go so well. Like the Atlantis, SquarePantis, and it was sort of a kind of meh special where they go to Atlantis, and each one had a song. Then they had David Bowie on there, and he's the only character that didn't sing out of the cast.
Ironic.
It was right. So in here, I guess, okay, this is actually one of the last things David Bowie worked on for songs.
Right, songs, right.
And I guess that was to make up for that special. Now, of course, he didn't perform in any of the Broadway showings they had where live or on TV, but you could tell a little bit of his music influence when you listen to the songs. Because they sound more like his than they do with SpongeBob.
And I thought they would have some of the fun songs from the show, like Ripped Pants or something, but this particular show really didn't seem to even take place in Bikini Bottom. It was like a whole different animal in terms of the plot and the characters and what was going on. So I guess it was strictly a musical. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be connected to SpongeBob at all.
Pretty
That's
much.
What it's like. Yeah.
Pretty much. And I mean, of course, there's going to be people that really enjoyed it. And I guess kids, you're taking the kids to see this, enjoyed it too.
And for this performance, Tom Kenny was there.
Yes, as Patchy the Pirate.
Yes.
That was, for me, one of the best parts of the musical.
He also did Gary.
Meow.
And the announcer.
Yeah, the French narrator from the original series. All by Tom Kenny.
So, there were some funny moments. There were some bright moments. But overall, it was a different experience. And I wonder if they plan on doing it again.
I do wonder that too, because it looks like it's its own story and that's it. If you remember, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the original one, had a similar theme, but this one seemed to be more almost relating to common events from today, because the movie just had them getting Neptune's crown. It was a fun adventure for all ages. SpongeBob Musical had a very odd plot. It involved, I guess, the end of the world as they thought, and they were all stuck inside and they couldn't leave until it was over. I'm like, I think at the time this came out 2016, but it eerily resembles, at the time of this recording, the current events. And it's like, you want to get your mind off of it, and it's not a good idea if you watch the musical and it's exactly the same thing that's happening already, because they were telling everybody to stay inside their homes, and I was like, are they really doing this?
Well, when this originally came out, there was an original cast recording, and it was composed of tracks written and composed by various artists, and they were sung by various artists. Actually, one song, No Control, was sang by David Bowie and Brian Eno. You had a song with Cyndi Lauper. You had a song with Yolanda Adams, Steven Tyler, and Joe Perry from Journey, John Legend. So, off stage, they actually had some well-known artists performing the song. So, I'm sure that they were different versus what we heard in the stage play.
Right. And the way the characters were written in here were also very different. Oh, yes, that's true. And the characters that were written in here were also a little different. I mean, SpongeBob's changed quality has been up and down for years, especially now that the creator has passed away. It's definitely going to go in a whole nother direction after some time. And the musical is like one of the last things that Stephen Hillenburg approved before his passing. We don't know if it was altered before or after his passing to something else, and this was a whole nother play. And what I mean different is that the characters act slightly different from the cartoon. They keep their personalities intact. SpongeBob's really happy, optimistic, Patrick's lazy, Sandy's a genius, Mr. Krabs still loves money, Plankton's scheming everybody. But there's little adjustments they made to it to, I guess, make it more grown up. By adding more common day problems with people. And for us, it kind of didn't fit SpongeBob because SpongeBob didn't have this. Everyone was underwater, fictional city of Bikini Bottom. Why are we talking about people being prejudiced against Sandy because she's a land animal?
That didn't make any sense. Sorry.
They had one episode over 10 years ago when they said, sea creatures are better than land creatures, and they were bragging about how they could breathe underwater and so forth. It was funny. Right. It wasn't to the extent of they wanted to run her out of town because she was a squirrel. She caused the end. It was like, what is this? It didn't make any sense.
It's as if they tried to take a game like Monster High, reboot, things that don't belong in a fantasy cartoon that's full of fun. It has messages, but they're always fun and not steeped in reality, and decide to make reality the fun message.
Right.
And we could go without, and for SpongeBob, you could do without racism and prejudice and sexism and all these other things. SpongeBob is supposed to be about fun, supposed to be healthy, pretty much wholesome for kids to watch. And again, the stage play seems to be a different animal. And really the stage play, to me watching it, it's not directed at kids.
No.
It's directed at people who are older.
Yeah.
But what's odd about this is even for people who were kids like you when they first started watching it, I still don't think you're the target audience because
of the subject matter?
Because of how it was done. I mean, you are saying what you think of it. And it's not as favorable as I think they would have hoped. And again, it's so unlike the show that you can't enjoy it for SpongeBob's sake, if that makes any sense. And now, it's not that the people didn't do a great job. They were enthusiastic. You could see all the effort being put into it. You could see that they really were having a good time, and all that did come through. But I guess, at least for me, I was expecting a correlation to the show and feel-good feelings and those wacky feelings and those goofy feelings and moments that you have in the show. And there were a few, but it wasn't paramount like it is in the TV series.
Right. It was missing that element of goofiness that made SpongeBob so enjoyable. And
here, you thought they were going to have goofy goobers. You were like, oh my God, goofy goobers will appear.
No, unfortunately they did not.
No.
And you stated before the original song, the closest they had, they did a new song in the tune of Best Day Ever, which is one of the most iconic songs of SpongeBob. But it was more about sticking together for the end of the world. And it was kind of like, okay, SpongeBob. And it was like, okay, you kind of get the joke, Best Day Ever, they're all together and stuff. I kind of got that. And as I said, the characters were kind of altered to a more extremist point. SpongeBob kind of stayed optimistic, just like the show. He was pretty much stayed the same intact. And I love they did add little bits of extra creativity by having a guy do the sound effects live, having their same footsteps they make in the show and the sound effects. And then with SpongeBob saying, hello, hello, pineapple, hello, Gary, hello, guy that makes the sound effects, hello, audience, hello, people watching at home. That was stuff SpongeBob would say. But then they get to other characters like Patrick, who now is egotistical, because a group of sardines suddenly want to worship him, and he gets a big head saying this is his time. Sandy feels left out of everything, even though she saves everybody a lot of the time. Plankton's kind of like Plankton, except he rapped and it didn't make sense. Mr. Krabs was kind of the same, even the guy that played him sounded like Mr. Krabs, but he had nothing outside of money. Pearl was Pearl and so forth, and Squidward was really over the top in here. So, and because each character had an arc, including the main one, so there were at least almost 10 arcs going all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Two things I found very odd was one, as you mentioned about Patrick, Sandy, and SpongeBob in the show are all friends. But for this play, Patrick and SpongeBob were friends, and Sandy and SpongeBob were friends, but Patrick and Sandy weren't. And that didn't make any sense because in the show, all three of them are friends. And yes, I know that Sandy and SpongeBob have their own little, karate thing and so forth, but it was never in the show that she wasn't friends with Patrick and vice versa. And in this play, it seemed to be evident that they weren't friends. They just dealt with each other because of SpongeBob. That was very odd.
Yeah.
I didn't understand
it was a little out of place if you really paid attention. Yeah, with the character interactions, it was obvious that was an odd part when all three were friends in the show. So I guess that was just their little take on it.
And it was the same thing with Squidward. No matter how they get along, Squidward and SpongeBob are like Deku and Bakugo. They're friends.
Right.
They have this little strange relationship, but they're friends. But for the play, that wasn't there. And we also noticed that it was more of a picking on SpongeBob, which didn't make sense.
Sort of, because he was a boy.
Mr. Krabs never has done that to SpongeBob. He actually likes SpongeBob. He's crazy about SpongeBob. He's his hardest worker. He's his best seller. He's his best cook. And anything he asks SpongeBob to do, he'll do. But in the play, there was kind of a different relationship that was odd between he and Mr. Krabs.
Right. Which was, like I said, very odd. And there was a lot of things that kind of didn't fit with this musical. And then, like I said, we think it's not just for kids, not just for the kids who grew up and are watching this. It's for also the adults. Like, this is something that'll appeal to the adults because so many things were going on in this play, not with just Doomsday thing and the prejudice thing and the Patrick getting worship like a savior thing and Plankton's rap thing. It was clear that it was trying to appeal to audiences by tackling real world issues. And SpongeBob didn't tackle real world issues. You don't have any of the real life topics or trends in there. The most you might see some of them use a little bit more technology and try to make it more fun, but they never went that route because if SpongeBob goes that route, you're gonna start questioning if you should keep watching, because if you're drawn into that part, what's the point of watching SpongeBob when you're seeing reality and it's SpongeBob SquarePants?
Right. And two last things for me. One, I think you would have known it was more geared toward children if they'd been wearing costumes, like most musicals and plays do when it's geared toward children. They see SpongeBob in a SpongeBob costume and Patrick and so forth, but that wasn't the case, so that should have been our first clue. And secondly, I said Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, and I said Journey. Please forgive me. That's Aerosmith. I don't know why I said it. I think I thought, when I saw Perry, I thought of Journey, but Aerosmith. And I love Aerosmith, and I know the majority of their songs, and I'm sorry for the mix-up.
And I agree with the costumes, but it seems that a lot of people nowadays in movies and plays do not want to put on stuff that requires more time in the department to put on everything. Like if they have to be an animal or something, they need to put on lots of hair and makeup and fur and stuff, and people have stated a lot of times that they will refuse to do the work if they got to sit in that chair for more than an hour, if they got to sit there for 3 hours. So it might be that maybe they want to go a simpler route and have on just clothes. Except for Squidward's costume, that was really creative.
Well, the thing with that is Disney does it every day. They wear Mickey and Minnie and all these at the theme parks. So they know the appeal of children is seeing these characters as they appear in the animation. Mm-hmm. So again, that could be true, but if so, then that opens another can of worms. Not only were they not attempting to appeal to the children, but they didn't want to wear the costumes because it was not cost effective or not comfortable. But again, take a hint from Disney. You want to appeal to your target audience. When it's your target audience, you got to give the kids what they're used to seeing, and that's these characters in costume and not a reasonable facsimile.
Right.
Now, if you have happened to see Spongebob Musical and you have a comment, whether you like it or you hate it, or it's just meh, let us know what you think in the comments below.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future Paws podcasts and World of Paws.
And remember, the original episodes of SpongeBob, like the first 10 years, are the best.
Right.
They absolutely positively are the best, and you get to see such a variety of different episodes and songs and fun. So they're always there for us to enjoy.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the phone.